Well, howdy there, Pipe Pals. How are you doing? It's me, the Holy Smoking Pipe Padre. Come in here and I want to show you something. Okay, as we go into here, pardon my messy kitchen, but I wish that I had the ability to allow you the absolute joy of smelling this delicious meal that I am making. Now, to be honest, it's still summer here, and it's a hot day. It's going to be a warm day, not a super hot day, but it's going to be a warm day. And I am making a beautiful pot roast. And it's kind of like I'm getting ready for fall, even though it's not quite fall yet, certainly.
This is your Twin Cities forecast.
Listening to a little bit of Minnesota Public Radio here.
Showers and thunderstorms, highs right around 80 degrees, south winds 5 to 10 miles per hour.
Let's see if we can do this here.
Trying
to show you.
Showers and thunderstorms possible, lows in the mid-60s. Another cloudy day on Sunday with
a little sitting area here. Here in Chico. Okay, so here we are. Anyway, let's see if I can. Is this working here? Actually, that's working.
Now a world-class recording studio is within your reach. Minnesota Public
All right,
Radio's
let's see if
Weyerhaeuser Music Studio is available
ScreenFlow
for
is working.
sessions.
Hold on a
Record on
second.
the same Steinway that Long Long used. For more, visit npr.org/studios.
Okay, well, how you doing? Old Holy Smoking Pipe Padre here. Ooh, ouch! A little ember from my
The
gift.
Armenian-born composer
Let me turn this down just a
Khachaturian
little bit
will
down.
savor the nuts and
But anyway, so we're doing today, believe it or not, I think we're doing today, hopefully we're doing today, we're doing a 3-camera, camera 1 maybe, camera number 2 here on ScreenFlow, and we got our little GoPro right here. So anyway, I am just taking a few moments out of my rather enjoyable Saturday morning, and I'm smoking some Captain Cool. Captain Cool.
The second version was eventually approved, but not before Lermontov was killed in a duel at the age of 27. Khachaturian's music?
In a Missouri corncob pipe, which was a gift from Grandpa Cavendish. Good old Grandpa Cavendish, alias are also known as Bert Shavitz, the late great Bert Shavitz. Okay, I'm getting some coffee here. Okay. So anyway, yeah, I'm doing a 3-camera angle today. Now, I got to tell you, in the olden days, 3-camera angles were really 2-camera angles were hard. I actually did 2 and 3-camera angles for my little videos and my little homilies when I was a prison chaplain. But it was painstaking. You had to literally cut each little camera angle. You had to nudge the audio sometimes. Sometimes the audio wouldn't measure up. It wouldn't mesh up. So you were kind of stuck with, it just took an awful long time. So, but with the new Final Cut Pro 10, multicam editing is actually quite easy and almost enjoyable. Let me just put it that way. So that's why I'm playing with 3-camera angles this time. Just seeing what's possible. That's what I'm doing. Okay. Well, what does this look like when I grab the pipe with this hand? Okay. Well, that's what we do here. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, I wanted to say thanks to Ed. The reason why I'm just kind of doing this real quick is my contest came to an end last Saturday, and I had a few winners, and I wanted just to announce them. Hopefully they'll watch the video. One of them is yet to claim his prize, but the first prize winner was, well, let me start with the third prize. Someone named Sally Davis won third prize, and so she won a $75 gift certificate to to Boswell's. What I did was I made third prize $50, but unfortunately when I gave her the code, there's a secret code, don't you know? And so I gave her the wrong code, so I didn't want to be an Indian giver. Maybe hopefully that wasn't a faux pas there. But I didn't want to be somebody that was stingy, so I just called Boswell's and said, go ahead and give both the second and third place winners the same dollar amount prize. So they did that. So Sally Davis was our third prize winner with a wonderful, again, I think her video was the one about Grandpa Cavendish looking like Bert Shavitz. Burt's Bees, Shavitz fame. Okay, so you know what? One of these things about smoking a pipe, and I love smoking a pipe, but sometimes it's the ashes that just really aggravate me, because I have just washed a brand new set of jeans, and now they're going to be smudged with ashes. Doggone, that really frosts my hide there. Okay. So anyway, second prize went to Richard T. Richard T. I don't know where he's been. He's kind of fallen off the earth. So if anybody has seen Richard T, for me, please tell him he is the second place winner. So he will also get a Boswell gift certificate for $75. And finally, our very one and only Grandpa Cavendish, Crazy Ed in New York there, he won first place, and but the reason why I'm saying all this, let me get a cup of Joe here, and he actually was very, very magnanimous, I should say, and he, for some strange reason, unbeknownst to me, decided he wanted to do something a little philanthropic, and he wanted to bequeath his winnings to the one and the only Leo Middlefinger, and who Ed believes, and I have to say from his picture, he does resemble Russell Crowe quite a bit. So Ed transferred the gift certificate to Leo, and so again, congratulations, I guess, even to Leo vicariously somehow entering. Well, he did enter in some ways through Grandpa Cavendish. He entered the doppelganger, Hollywood doppelganger contest. Okay. This has been, you know, it's funny. I have, you know, I got to be grateful that I have a very full and active life. And I have to say that probably a lot of that has to do with rediscovering health and exercise and fitness. Although, a little confession time here, folks. You know, bless me, for I have sinned. Really, I truly have. What that means is, although the activity, I have to do, I'm going to talk about this in a little Apple Watch here. Activity monitor. I have found that I do an awful lot of walking / sometimes intermittent running. I'm just constantly on the move. I'm not a person who sits a lot. And I don't know why that. I mean, I've always been active in most of my adult life, and unless when I gained all the weight, I noticed I was sitting at my computer desk hours on end. I don't quite do that as much as I used to. I still do. Sometimes I still make videos for both my channels. But I find myself I'm constantly on the go. Constantly on the go. Now this week, my diet has taken a drastic tumble. And so starting tomorrow evening, I am rededicating myself to probably... I'm trying to. I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute, but I want to rededicate some things, kind of change it up a bit. But anyway, so I haven't been smoking a pipe, is what I was going to say, and I just am not a guy who just, you know, smokes a pipe all the time. And it's not, I don't think that's necessarily would be a bad thing if you did smoke a pipe all the time. I'm just saying that I don't do that. For me, I like to smoke my pipe when, you know, things are kind of going good in my life. I can kind of sit and enjoy it. So for me, pipe smoking has always been, as opposed to, say, an addiction, it is something I truly derive some satisfaction and personal, you know, enjoyment from, whether, aside from the fact that, you know, maybe some people would say that, you know, certainly smoking tobacco is a bad thing for you. And granted, I'm not here to promote smoking tobacco. I'm not here to encourage anybody. This is just a channel that I kind of share my life, my personal life with people. And sometimes, you know, I might say things that some people may disagree with, and then I might say some things that might seem insensitive. I might say some things that might challenge other people, and some things I just, you know, kind of nonsensical things. So anyway, I wanted to say one thing. I did watch Leo Middlefinger's video of him accepting Ed's very generous gift, and it was interesting because he seemed to think I was, I don't know if he said how he said it. He said, well, he was kind of talking about how he didn't like people cussing, and I kind of wanted to just clarify that. Not that he's wrong in the sense. It's just that, again, if you disagree or you see something a little bit differently, it doesn't mean that maybe I personally disapprove of the individual or individuals that maybe subscribe to a different philosophy. That's really not the question. My thing was I was actually intrigued, and I still am intrigued, by most YouTubers who just use a lot of profanity. It was just kind of an observation. Again, I probably would like to see people, you know, maybe be a little more maybe refined, but at the same time, I don't have a real problem. Like, oh gosh, if you say a blue word, I'm gonna unsubscribe from you, or I won't subscribe to you, or I'm going to flag your video. Nothing like that at all. It was just again, when I was growing up, people in polite conversation, and I'll put that in quotes, you know, polite conversation. And what does that mean? You're probably saying, well, what does that mean? Well, essentially, I think polite conversation was that you were mindful of, you know, you weren't going to use vulgarities or, you know, and even to some extent, when I was growing up, again, it was kind of fading, but it was even considered bad form to even use colloquialisms, you know. Let's see, colloquialisms, you know, gosh, now I'm trying to think of something that would be considered maybe a colloquialism. Just a phrase of speech that maybe was considered just maybe, you know, laziness. Somebody, for example, well, this is just more of a, you know, people get into a. Sometimes there are phrases that go around in our society. For a while there, I noticed a few years ago, it was "Hey dog, hey dog." You know, it was kind of like the slang thing. You know, when you were wanting to be like, you know, rocking it with your homeboys, you know, you would say "Hey dog." And so for me, one time I think I actually, just to have some fun, in one of my other videos, I did a "Hey dog," and people kind of, what? What was he saying that for? You know. So anyway, again, it's just it's just an observation that I noticed that a lot of younger people and older people have no problems dropping certain expletives, just like they're talking about, you know, whatever, you know. So, and again, it was just an observation, and so if somebody thinks that I don't like people because they use blue words from time to time, nothing could be further from the truth. Okay. And again, to be very frank and honest, I think all of us, from time to time, certainly have uttered certain words we wish that maybe we probably had, and some people, again, don't care. It doesn't matter to them, and that's okay too. That's where they live, and you know, I say God bless you. Okay. So anyway, so here I am talking about the winners of the contest. If you haven't gotten a hold of me, or you haven't redeemed your prize, please, I would like to encourage you to do so as soon as possible. Just send me a PM. That is the thing about Captain Cool. It's a McClellan's blend, I believe. I think there's some McClellan's. I hear somebody saying, "It is McClellan's, you idiot." Is it McClellan's? Yep, it's a McClellan blend. Yeah, just wanted to make sure. Wow, that is tasty. But it reminds me, I think it was called Mixture 79. Anybody else remember Mixture 79? A little drugstore tobacco. Came in a little white box with really pretty filigreed lettering, and it looked very elegant. Okay, Mixture 79. This exactly is almost identical, puff for puff, identical with Mixture 79. But the one thing it does not have, you ask, what it does not have? Doesn't have any doggone tongue bite. That's what it doesn't have. Thank you very much. Okay, so what am I going to talk about? Somebody goes, "Oh gosh, he's going to talk about something." Here we go. Well, first of all, let me get some Joe here. I think Joe originated during World War II with a cup of G.I. Joe, because government issue. We were called G.I. Joes, and so I think it was just, "Hey Joe, you want a cup of Joe?" I think I think that was the origin of where Cup of Joe came from. It was had to do with World War II, I think, maybe even World War I. I tell you, the wonderful aroma. I wish you could kind of be here, and just inhale this wonderful, delectable, simmering pot roast with all the herbs, thyme and onion and bay leaves and rosemary and apple cider vinegar and man, it's just glorious stuff. I'm a fall person, so when the temperature drops by about another 20 degrees and we start going into the fall weather, it's going to be absolutely glorious. It's already glorious now. That's what I like to say. A lot of people get upset with winter and summer, and sometimes we need to just accept the fact that it's summertime, and it's going to be warm and hot and moist, and sometimes, like right now, we're going through a lot of humidity, which we normally don't do here in Chico in Northern California. But it's just a nice. I like changes in weather, So if we go from a really hot, beastly day, even for a string of those, then we have a nice, cool, almost autumnal, one of my favorite words in the whole English language, autumnal. Then it's wonderful. You appreciate the finer things when they come around. Don't you? Just like a pipe. Again, I know I talk about this from time to time, but the difference between addiction and something that you enjoy as a recreational thing is, I think, a lot. The difference is that one is you become a slave to something, whereas when you're really just simply enjoying something, you're the one that's in control. It's not something that you have to do. It's something you choose to do, and that's what makes it enjoyable. And I would say that 99.9% of all of the YouTube pipe presenters I've seen are in that boat. They just enjoy their pipe, and it's not like, the first thing they do is they got to light their pipe in the morning, and it's not like that, So I think that says a lot about, the hobby of pipe smoking, that it's just kind of a recreational, enjoyable thing. Okay. So what am I doing here? What do I, other than announcing my prize winners? What am I talking about today? Well, just simple. I want to talk about, good old-fashioned Apple products. Here's the activity monitor here, if I can bring it up. Yeah, there's the activity monitor. And so a lot of times people talk about Apple products, and either you really love them or you really hate them. I know the new Windows 10 just came out. And I'd be tempted. I'm actually tempted almost to get a small Windows 10 tablet or a small laptop with Windows 10, just to keep myself kind of like knowledgeable of what's going on with Windows 10. Now, I don't know if it's going to be a great operating system. I'm not here to trash Windows 10. So if you're a Windows person, you're a Microsoft person, I say God bless you. I used to be a Mac. I mean, I used to be a Windows guy for a number of years. I think that, you know, there are just certain things that Windows does that Macs don't really do. Macs have never really been, I don't think they're ever going to be, a gaming platform. So if you're into games, and I used to be into games quite a bit, you know, you're just not going to be able to have the same kind of experience, I don't think, on a Mac that you can on a Windows machine, you know, or something that runs Windows kind of software. So again, that's not really a hit against Mac and OS 10 or, you know, Apple products. It's just that that's not what they do best. You know, they do, for the most part, they have up until recently, I think, really excelled at, you know, video editing, photography, you know, kind of the graphic arts kinds of things. Sadly, though, I have noticed that some of the software is kind of buggy. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But gotta relight my pipe again. But I think it's interesting that people look at the value of an Apple product based upon not so much, it's more like the, how do I say this? It's kind of like the hype of a product as opposed to its everyday, real life usefulness in your life, okay? And I think that that's where I would say, you know what, when it comes to certain Apple products, the ones that I truly use a lot without thinking about it, believe it or not, are the two. Now, I'd say three, obviously. Now, again, I gotta tell you, yeah, I really enjoy my Macs, my Mighty Mac Pro, which is in the other room there, of this new iMac I have here now, the 5K Retina display, you know, the MacBook Pro, which I have from 2013, I think it is, you know, maybe 2014. Anyway, the bottom line is that, you know, I use these products interchangeably. The iPads I use interchangeably with different things. So they're tools, you know, they're just tools. And sometimes I find myself gravitating to one as opposed to the other. But the ones that I'm constantly now interacting with, and I use them a lot, even though they're probably right now, I would say, although the newest Apple product is, and it's kind of really been going through some real questioning, and the other one is the Apple TV. So the two products that I actually use from morning till noon, and are very pivotal things in my life, are the Apple Watch now. You know, the Apple Watch with its activity monitor. You know, I use that a lot. I'm constantly referring to that. I'm also, I can receive messages. I can make phone calls. Sometimes I'm on a walk, and I'm able to instantly just get back to somebody, letting them know I got their message. I can even respond on the fly. You know, maybe I can't go into a long dissertation. Why would I want to? I only do that on my YouTube channel. But the thing is that I use it constantly. It's just part of my life. Now, again, the phone has always been a constant part. And then Apple TV. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because these are the kind of, if you will, the products that right now I'd have to say, honestly, they're the lackluster products. Now, although the Apple Watch just came out and, you know, it's been promoted, and you know, it's going through its, you know, kind of its you know, promotional zenith of, you know, wow, the Apple Watch, you know, it's kind of like the apex right now, and we're kind of all focused, we're supposed to focus now on the Apple Watch because they're trying to sell them. Well, I mean, that's only part of business strategy there. But once you have one of these products, unless you just put it in a box and you're just not really interested in it, but if you're wearing it or you're using it like the Apple TV, it's something that I constantly use. And so although they're kind of seen as now the questionable Apple products, that most people's like, well, you know, they're not selling, you know, they're not having the big volume of sales. The people, at least I would say, these are two products that are constantly a part of my daily life. Okay, I have other tech things like, okay, like my little GoPro here. Hey, it's a great little camera, and for outdoor stuff and kind of fun, whimsical stuff like I'm doing now, yeah, I can use it. It's great. You know, and that's the nice thing about the GoPros. You can stick them on your car, you can stick them on your wrist, you can stick them on your head, you know, and you can do some really fun things. But I don't use it every day. My iMac here that I'm looking at right now, I use it every day, but I don't use it as much as maybe I used to. Again, I don't like sitting that much. In fact, I've got to stand up here pretty soon. And my phone that I'm looking at right now, although the phone is a companion, or the watch is a companion to the phone, the bottom line is that the phone is, if I want to do a more detailed response to somebody, I got the phone as my backup. But notifications now come 90% through the watch. Or if you can see that, the watch. And so that's why I really wanted just to talk about that real quick, is that's the my personal experience, my personal reality, dealing with the watch, dealing with the Apple TV. Those are the two primary ones that I just are part of my background life every day. You know, sort of like, it's like, you know, in the old days, you know, listen to the radio. I don't know if people listen, you know, radio. But even though you didn't really interact with it that much, it was a part of your life, and my music is still a part of my life. But at the same time, you know, it's that element of, okay, this is daily involvement. This is something that's always part of my life. So that's the way it is with, I think, the Apple Watch and the Apple TV and the phone, certainly to a great extent. But they're kind of now in the background of my life, but they're definitely part of my life, part of my daily routine, part of my daily experience. And you know, you're probably saying, well, that's fine, I could care less, and that's okay. But again, I would say another thing that ties into our little pipe smoking thing is, you know, what are the real, you know, daily pipe experiences that you have? Maybe you take them for granted. Maybe you don't recognize them, or you acknowledge them. You know, sometimes I feel like because of my life, I'm not a daily pipe smoker. Not to say that that would be a bad thing per se, but it's just that as I said earlier, it's something I do when I'm feeling good. But what are those things that are part of your little pipe smoking routine? You know, for example, this is a tamper I got from Herminator, and for some reason, this is kind of like my go-to tamper. I mean, I just love the feel of it. It was a personal gift, and I just love it. You know, there are certain, another thing here is my old Dunhill lighter. Now, I've had this for several years now, and obviously it needs a good brush up and a good clean up here. But anyway, the thing is that I really like this lighter. Has this little house that it lives in. I love this little house there. But that basically is some of my pipe stuff, my pipe things that I use on a daily basis, or when I choose to smoke my pipe. I mean, so they're kind of like my go-to things. Yeah, the go-to on the GoPro, you know, go-to pipe stuff. But I don't think about it when I decide I want to have a pipe or something. You know, it's just like these two accoutrements. They pretty much are my go-to things. So, just wondering what kind of go-to pipe stuff that you guys, you know, notice. You know, maybe it's an ashtray. You know, there's certain pipe ashtrays that you might want to have at your armchair or your table, whatever you're doing. It could even be another pipe accoutrement. It could be just a cup of joe, good old cup of coffee. You know, so what are some of those? What are some of those things? Excuse me, I got an itch in my nose here. That you find that are just part of your ritual, your routine, your daily experience when you enjoy, say, a pipe, or when you choose to enjoy a pipe. So that's all I wanted to talk about. Again, contest winners, congratulations to the winners. Thank you to all those people who entered the contest. I hope you had some fun with that contest. I know that I had fun with the contest. I hope you did too. And so we'll see you probably on the flip side. And so until next time, you know, take an old Missouri Meerschaum or a wonderful briar or a calabash or a meerschaum or maybe a hookah pipe, and enjoy your favorite pipe tobacco and just enjoy the moment. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye now.